So this is part two of my journey, my story of being a single mother. So we left off with me telling you that by 2005, I was a single woman with two small children, and I didn't, again, have a handle on life at all. I suffered from a little bit of depression. I suffered from a little bit of postpartum depression early on. I just could not quite figure my life out. I couldn't get things together in my life. I was just like, what do I do at this point? I'm single. I got my two kids. I really want a really good life for them, but I didn't know how I was going to get that life for them. So I'm divorced. I got two small kids. My kids are about 1 and 2 years old at the time. I didn't have steady income. I was searching for jobs here and there. I was doing little, what you would call side hustles and stuff like that. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart, but I didn't really have a business plan, nothing like that. I just knew I could do some things here and there to make money. So I was doing that, doing hair on the side, and doing resumes for people. I was going to continue school, but I was like, I don't have time for that. I got my kids at home. Just everything was just going all over the place. I really was just trying to make it happen. I really was like, okay, buckle down, figure out how you gonna do this. You got your two kids, figure it out. Well, I have had a job. I was working in the mall at the time. I was making $6.36 an hour, and just one day I took off driving in one direction and drove clean across Tennessee. And I was bawling, crying, because I was like, I can't do this. I cannot take care of my kids on $6.36 an hour, part time, mind you. I wasn't even working full time. I liked my job, but it wasn't a career. It was just a job to kind of pay for a little bit of stuff here and there. I'm talking about when you getting checks for a couple $100 a month. Anyways, I drove clean across Tennessee, bawling, crying my eyes out. I was in my truck just like, I can't do this. And something told me, something inside my gut said, call your aunt. And I called my aunt, and I was just telling her, I can't do it. I cannot take care of my kids. I don't have the ability to take care of them. I don't have no money. I can't pay for daycare when I go to work. I can't pay you if you watch my baby. I can't even really get them no food, nothing. I was just in poverty, just depressed, just I didn't have the means to take care of me and my kids. But my auntie said, we will help you. And when she said that, it made me get another burst of energy. It made me be more hopeful. It took me out of being super depressed to having hope. Okay, I got some help. Even though, you guys, my family was helping me the whole time. They was buying stuff for my kids. I was living with my mother, so, we had shelter, stuff like that. But in your mind, you are a mother. This is the life you chose. You don't want to have to rely on welfare and your family, because this is the life you chose. At least in my mind, I was like, I chose this. My mom, my aunts, my uncles, my granny, my sister, brother, nobody forced me into this lifestyle, into this situation, so it's not their responsibility. But I still needed the help. I needed help with my life and with my children. I really did. So my aunt said that. She said, we will help you. She doesn't know really how much just that statement impacted my life and changed how I continue from that point to now. Having family support and having people in your circle is so crucial. It's so vital. Whether you are a single mother or not, whether you are somebody trying to build a business, trying to get your life in order, it's so vital and crucial that you have people in your life that support you and that will encourage you, especially when you're doing right. So, anyways, continuing on, my aunt said that, she said, we're going to help you. I was like, okay, good. Now I can push forward. So all along this time, the next couple of years were super trying. I couldn't keep income. I had jobs and stuff that were paying money, but you guys, part time and retail jobs don't pay enough to support a grown up and two dependents. Obviously, we know that. Well, uh, with the next couple of years from 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 up until 2009, you guys, when I tell you my kids were sick with everything, at the time we were still vaccinating. So my kids kept being sick. All of a sudden, my son gets super ill where he's not getting better. After a stint or a appointment for vaccinations, he got some shots. He started just being sick with mysterious illnesses. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. He ended up getting hospitalized, and I didn't have no husband. All I had was me. I was sick. Like, my baby is sick. They eventually started saying that he might have a rare form of diabetes. He might have a form of cancer, childhood cancer. Can y'all imagine your baby? I mean, he was barely one. It was, oh my gosh, it was so trying. And I remember one day just getting down on my knees and laying my hands on my son. And I was like, you got to get better. I'm willing from myself, from my health to my son, that you get better, that you do not continue to be sick, because I don't know what's wrong with you. The doctors don't know what's wrong with you. And you're not getting any better, but your mom, I was tired. I was severely tired. I was like, you guys, my son and my daughter had been sick with different illnesses from birth all the way up. But keep in mind, I was vaccinating my children. You guys will definitely hear the story of our journey with vaccines and how we stopped vaccinating. I will tell you guys that later. But my son was super ill, and I just was on my knees praying like, God, please take it. Please take this sickness from him, because he was so just, he was a good, happy child, but when he was sick, he was sick. Well, my son ends up getting better around 2006, 2007. My son and my daughter kept having what they called the rotavirus, and it was a severe stomach virus. They kept having it, like every school year they would have it. With them having it, their mama would get it. I would be so sick, just vomiting everywhere. Headaches, sweats, cold sweats, fever, everything you could think of, I was getting it too. After both of the kids would have it, mama would have it. I was trying to build a life, trying to get a career, trying to build my business, what I thought at the time was a business. Anyways, I was doing that. Then all of a sudden, my daughter, this is in 2008, my daughter somehow, she gets sick too, but really bad. She gets really, really ill. Keep in mind, I had just now got my son a little bit better. You guys, we were sick, sick, sick. My kids was in public school. They told us they need to take the flu vaccination. Mom, you got to take it too, because your kids go to school and you're around your kids, and sometimes you volunteer at the school. I take that vaccination, you guys. We sick. I'm talking about so sick. I said, God, please take me now. Take us now, because I was super sick. Could not set my head up. At the time, I had enrolled in University of Phoenix, because I was attempting to finish my accounting degree. I couldn't do nothing. Sick. Sick, sick, sick. Could not do nothing. Couldn't move my arms. Couldn't get up off the floor. Sometimes couldn't get up off the couch. We finally get over that. All three of us. We all have the flu, because they gave us the flu. We get over it. And then somehow in 2009, my daughter develops epilepsy. Again, keep in mind, we're vaccinating. We're still going to the doctor and staying on schedule with their vaccines. My kids still attend public school. So we're vaccinating. I don't really know at the time why my kids kept being so sick, why I kept being so sick. After they were sick, I'm sick. But then shit hit the fan, y'all, when my baby girl, we just getting them kind of healthy, kind of, but we're still vaccinating. And my daughter develops epilepsy out the blue. No, there was no signs. Like, she wasn't sick with something like that. All of a sudden, she starts having seizures. Just one night, we're sitting there, all three of us, and my daughter decides to go in my room to watch TV because she wanted to watch a different program from myself and my son. My son and I hear this grunting noise in the background, like coming out of my room. We up front in my apartment. We go in the back, and my daughter's eyes are rolled in the back of her head. You can't see nothing but white. I'm calling her name. She's not saying nothing. Not saying nothing, y'all. I literally thought my daughter was dying. I could see that she was breathing. She was kind of moving, but she was making this hard grunting sound. I just grabbed her. My son was beside me, and we went up front to call 911. But I had a prepaid phone at the time, and my phone didn't work out in the country where we lived. And so I couldn't get nobody on the phone. I run out the house, and I'm banging on the doors of my neighbors. For some reason, everybody was sleeping so hard they didn't hear me banging on the door. They did not come and answer their door. Well, I run back in my apartment, and I'm like, okay, gotta get 911 on the phone. I finally am able to get them on the phone, and they're talking me through how to care for her, but they really weren't as, they didn't act in urgency as I thought they should have. So my daughter is truly having a seizure. I'm on the phone with 911. I call my sister, and my sister literally gets to the house, gets to my apartment before the ambulance even gets there. My sister is hysterical. I'm trying to keep my cool. Mind y'all, the whole time my son is cool. He's not panicking, nothing. He's not even crying. He's standing at the door waiting on the ambulance to get there. My daughter is still making that noise, but she's somehow coming down out of the seizure. So she's doing a little bit better, but she's still crying hysterically because she's hurting. EMS gets there. They're like, oh, this is something that happens. Basically, y'all, they was just acting casual. Like, my mom and my aunt show up to my apartment, and we immediately take my daughter to a specialist. In the next state over, I'll tell you guys about that whole ordeal in another video. But still, all at the same time in my mind, I don't have no money. I didn't even have a vehicle that would make it to the next state over. That's how bad it was. Imagine, you think your child is dying, but in your mind, you like, I can't even get to no hospital because my vehicle didn't have gas, and it wasn't really in working condition where I can be driving state to state. Literally, y'all. Just my mind was everywhere. I was panicking inside, but I was keeping my cool. So that happens. My daughter develops epilepsy. We finally come out of all of that. My kids are getting a little bit better. Like I said, I will definitely go into a more in-depth discussion about vaccines and our children, our black children especially. But we finally come out of that. I'm still in Kentucky trying to figure life out, especially with having a child that is now what they consider epileptic. She needs care. She has to monitor what she eats. She has to monitor what activities she do, all of that. Or the activities that she does at school and on a daily basis. And staying on a regular schedule so nothing triggers the epilepsy or a seizure. You guys, I'm going through it. All the time, I'm just like, dang, I wish I had my husband. I'm still praying, like, God, bring him back. Woo, woo, woo. Still doing that. Still praying that my husband comes back. Well, my husband and I don't reconcile. By 2011, I had prayed hard. God, this going to have to change. This life that I got with my kids has to change, like, now. This is not going to work. The Holy Spirit, or my spirit, I got an unction in my gut. I felt, you need to go to Georgia. Go on back to Georgia, because I had moved to Georgia before, wasn't successful, had to leave my kids in Kentucky, came back to Georgia. When I tell y'all, I was scared to death. I put myself and my kids in a U-Haul truck, strapped my vehicle that was really not good enough to be driving nowhere. I strapped my vehicle to the back of that U-Haul, and we drove from Kentucky to Georgia with all of this little bit of stuff that we had. And in 2011, I can say that's when our life really started taking off. I was out here hustling. When I tell y'all, I was meeting everybody like, hey, I got to get a job. I got to get some income coming in. I got 2 small kids. We just moved here from Kentucky. I'm in Georgia. I'm in a land now where I don't know nobody. Also, you guys, I still am not really on the up and up with my ex-husband. I still don't have real support and help. I'm still a single mother trying to figure life out. Well, 2011 hit. I was just like, okay, cool. We got to make this happen. I can't move back to Kentucky. I can't fail again. I didn't. I didn't fail. From 2011 all the way up until this present moment, we've seen some for real ups and downs. My kids have seen some really hard times as far as their mom figuring this life out, making life happen for them. But I went from being an employee to being fully self-employed. I went from living in a roach-infested apartment to being able to build a house from the ground up and kind of customize it. Able to put a cash down payment down. All of that because I felt in my gut, girl, you gotta you gotta do this. You don't have a choice. You got 2 kids. Like, you don't have a choice. You can't just give up. You can't just stop your life because you in your emotions, because you single. You can't just stop. Your kids deserve better. And I'm telling that to everybody, male or female. When you have kids, put self in the bag. Make the life of your kids that they never could imagine they would have. Make life happen for your kids. Don't just leave them to fend for themselves, to figure life out for themselves. And don't just keep giving up because one obstacle happens. Keep moving. Keep pushing forward. It's too easy to give up. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, I struggle. But not that bad. I mean, it was just me and my kids. If it came to us having to live in my vehicle, my kids was cool with that. They ain't had no problem with that because they knew that mama was doing what was best for them. You know, she was making a life for my kids. In their mind was like, okay, we know mama got us, so we good. So yeah, I got my kids. Yes, it has been difficult. Yes, there have been times where I'm just like, nope, I can't do this no more. I'm sick of it. I don't like this life as a single woman trying to raise my kids. Don't like it. Sick. You got to keep your mental stability. You got to keep your physical self in check. You got to make sure you got finance. You got to make sure you got a vehicle. You got to make sure you got shelter for you and your kids, and suitable shelter. We can't just live anywhere. I can't just live life any type of way. My kids deserve better than that. If it was just me, and I say this to anybody, man, I live in my car till my business became so big I could buy my mansion. Well, don't no kids deserve to be living in no car. You chose to have them. They didn't choose to come here. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get your shit straight when you have children. If you just have one, get your shit straight. Make sure you do what's necessary so your child don't have to ever see poverty. So your kids don't ever have to live in no car. So your kids don't ever have to worry about finances and emotional struggles, watching their mama deal with being single and trying to raise them, trying to figure out money, trying to figure out how to do this and that, trying to go from A to Z. Your kids don't deserve that. I'm here right now in front of you letting you know it ain't easy and it should not happen like that. No black woman in the world right now has any business being single and got kids. Who is providing for you? Who's protecting you? Nobody. Now, I'm going to go back just a couple of years from right now. 2017, my mind started being tried again, just with my spiritual self. I was like, I've been praying God for my husband to come back. He ain't came back. Like, where he at? I'm still out here struggling. By 2016, I had built my house. I was fully self-employed. Life is going, but I'm still single. I'm still single. I have like these, what some people would describe as, you got these high expectations for a man. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come on, y'all. Come on. I have 2 children here. I can't just be connected or right next to somebody that's not no good for my kids. Less known good for me. Like, it ain't even about me. Yes, I really, 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 really do want to have a companion. But there was things in myself and LaShonda that had to be worked out. I had to do some things, some real serious spiritual work. Still working. But I guarantee right now, who I am as a woman, who I am as a black female in America, she on fire. I know my companion, the man I'm supposed to take on the world with, he's right around the corner. I got a few other things that I got to get in place, and a few other variables that I myself would like to accomplish before I get into a serious relationship. Soon. All those things will be soon. I'm actually building an empire for my children. And I think that right now at this time, I need to focus on that versus being in a serious committed relationship where I'm trying to balance myself, him, my kids. Right now just ain't quite the time for that, but it's coming. And I'm telling y'all, I'm preparing. But we my kids and I, we've gone through many of things. We've gone through many of things, but we have been able to conquer all of those battles. 2017 really showed me who I was as a woman, really showed me who my kids are. We came out of Christianity. We came from, in 2016, my kids, going into 2017, I pulled my kids out of school. They started being at home with me 24/7, studying on their own, studying with some of my help. My kids are very intelligent. Like, I haven't been necessarily teaching them, standing up at a chalkboard teaching my kids. It has not been necessary. My kids are very intelligent and very self-reliant. They're able to teach themselves a lot of things because they're just smart like that. They just are intellectual kids that this generation, I mean, they just very wise and very knowledgeable. They soak up everything, but if you got to make sure you're putting the right things in them. But we came out of the church, came out of the school system, and I stopped vaccinating my kids. Life is so much better now without the guides of Christianity, without the worry of hell, without the stigma of being a single woman with kids in the church. Whole nother conversation, y'all. And without sickness, my kids haven't had so much as, they may have had a stuffy nose and a sore throat, but that's because they was exposed to it. And we just are now working on building up our immune system, cleansing all the parasites and things out of our system so that we can battle all of the sickness that is around us when we're in public. Thankfully, we just haven't seen a whole bunch of sickness at all, really at all. They haven't had stomach virus or real bad things to happen to them health wise because we don't vaccinate and my kids don't go to school. They're not exposed to that stuff anymore. Life is good. Life is good. We haven't been under Christianity for a couple of years now. We have not vaccinated and we haven't been going to school. And both of my kids are done with high school, completely done, have their diplomas, they're good. And we're now pursuing a real estate empire as well as the paper degrees that our society requires. We good, y'all. We are good. You can do the same thing. Continue to follow me on social media at LRS Organizing. And also, please like, comment, and subscribe to my page, to my channel right here on YouTube. You will definitely get a more in-depth story video about vaccines and our children, and about how to go from point A to point B, C, D, E, all the way through Z, if you just make up in your mind that you are going to do it. Period. There are several resources right here on this channel. I want to extend all of those to you all, but that's my story, being a single mother, being a single black woman in this world. You guys will hear more from me and will hear more about this journey and this life. But please continue to support. Please come back. Please subscribe. I appreciate all of the love that I've gotten so far, and I really appreciate the support from my people. I'm here for you, and I just ask that you support me. I'm going to give you all of me, and it's more than I could ever imagine. I'm going to give that to the best of my ability. But thank you so much for watching. Any single woman, any single mother out there, it's not over. You can do this. Watch me work.